Okay. So in the last class, we spoke about force. We also spoke about characteristics of force, right? In which we had a lot of discussion, characteristics of force. And I wanted to keep it simple just for a discussion. Yeah, I'll not allow. With me, punctuality is just now I have shown a video. I'm sorry. We'll join next class. The door was open actually, otherwise you wouldn't have been able to open it. The door is usually closed. At 5:30, I close the door always from inside. Characteristics of force. Right. So these two we had discussed in our last class. This one and these two, right? Hope you remember. Of course, was a sort of an interaction. Okay. And it's like an influence, right? So we discussed a little bit more about force. If you see a force always depends upon an interaction. Okay, an interaction between two bodies. We will refrain from the word objects. We will say two bodies, an interaction between the two bodies. Let's try to have a duel between two friends. Let's say this is one boy, and let's say this is one more boy, and they're having a little bit of a, a fight or something, sort of. So this boy is pushing this boy, and this boy is pushing this, right? There's a force that's happening. Now, if you look at boy one, and two, okay, we are trying to look the action of one on two, right? So can I now say that if I look at one is the body that is applying the force, okay, applying the force, or you can say exerting the force, right? Exerting the force. So whenever it's a two-body interaction, there will be somebody who will apply the force or someone who will exert the force. NCERT will not follow. Huh? So have the luck wishing with you. This book will not help you anything to develop your science knowledge. This is good for school. That book is much better. So applying the force, or this is exerting the force. And if you look at two at that time, so what is two? The force. Okay, so force is acting on two, or we can say two is the receiver, right? So somebody has to apply a force and somebody receives the force. So for example, when you open a door, what happens? You are exerting the force on the door, so you are the applicant and the door is the receiver. So sometimes they may give you competency based question, 1 or 2 figures, where they will show you somebody is applying a force, somebody is receiving a force. So there you have to just see that whether the diagram, you have to see whether the diagram is showing all the forces, then take your action. Don't make a mistake. Nowadays in CBSE, these sort of questions are very much expected, because now competency based questions are going to increase. Nobody's going to ask you define the characteristics. They will ask you, but these sort of questions will come, where the 2 figures and all can be there. So tell me, force as an interaction between two bodies, and one body being a applicant of force and another body being a recipient of force. Have you understood this? Clear? No doubt about it. Okay. Now third thing that we will see today are something called, this may be there in your book, may not be there, but we will understand. Like forces. Okay, like forces. Any idea about like force? What are like forces? Okay. Huh? Forces that have equal strength. Forces have nothing to do with strength. You can say forces that have equal measure, we can say. No, like forces are not that. Like forces are, first let us understand, forces that, number one, are in same direction, and number two, that are parallel. Forces that are in same direction, first of all, they should be in the same direction and they should be parallel. Are you understanding? They should be in same direction and they should be parallel. So let us try to understand what are we trying to say. So let me say that there is a block out here. This is a block. So forces which are on the same direction. Let's try to pull the block this side. Which side will we pull it? We'll pull it towards my right. Okay. So look at me. I am pulling this force, this is first force. So what does the definition say? Forces, it can be two, it can be more than two, they should be in the same direction. अब आप खुद सोचिए, जो फोर्स मैं अभी ड्रॉ करने वाला हूं वो किस डायरेक्शन में होना चाहिए? सेम डायरेक्शन में। एक और क्राइटेरिया है, पैरेलल भी होना चाहिए, मतलब ऐसे मत ड्रॉ करो, ऐसे मत ड्रॉ करो, समझ में आया? स्ट्रेट हम ड्रॉ करेंगे ऐसे। Did you understand? So let's say I give some values to it. इस फोर्स को मैं कहता हूं दिस फोर्स इज 3 न्यूटन, और ये थोड़ा बड़ा लग रहा है, इसको मैंने 6 न्यूटन कह दिया। आई थिंक यू हैव इनफ कॉमन सेंस नाउ टू से कि एक बच्चा इसको 3 न्यूटन से खींच रहा है और एक बच्चा इसको 6 न्यूटन से। इट्स लाइक मी एंड माय ब्रदर, आवर मदर्स हैव गिवन अस जॉब दैट कीप ऑन पुलिंग, सो आई हैव वन सर्विस विथ मी, आई एम थिंकिंग ही विल हैव लेस फोर्स देन मी, so he's pulling with 3 and I am pulling. If both of us are replaced and we want to punish this fellow Ryan, he has to pull with how much Newton? 9 Newton. You have got it. 9 Newton. But remember, this addition which you did for 9 Newton, that addition holds. अब यहीं पे मजेदार चीज है, अगर इसको is same thing, okay? Let's take the same thing now and say that if for example, say if it was only one force, if the force was only one force, then that force would be how much? 9 Newton. 9 Newton. So this 9 Newton is known as what? It is known as the resultant. It is known as the resultant. Result nahi, resultant force. So it is the combined effect of both the forces. Now be very careful, children. Our friend Sharvesh quickly added and says 3 and 6 is 9. This addition holds only when criteria number 2 is there, parallel. But it may not be parallel also. Let's see an example. What is the example? Paratrooper coming down with a parachute. How is he pulling? One on this side, one on this side. Both the forces in the same direction, but they are not parallel. ये सब हम पढ़ते हैं जाके grade 9 के आगे. Here we will need, I told you what vector, right? We will need something called the knowledge of vector addition. जरा सोच के देखो कितने अच्छे से एग्जाम्पल है। फोर्स इस साइड से आ रहा है, इस साइड से आया, पैराट्रूपर कहां जा रहा है? सीधा नीचे जा रहा है। थोड़ा और एक एग्जांपल, फनी, all of us we know, now don't laugh at it, physics and science when we study and biology, you might initially when you study bio, you study human body, you start laughing, ऐसा कोई बात नहीं है, तो आप मेडिकल डॉक्टर तो कुछ पढ़ ही नहीं सकते हैं। now say you're wearing a jeans, now when person takes out a jeans, usual procedure is what? You will just unbutton the jeans। बहुत कम लोग जिप को खोलते ऐसे खींच देते हैं, दोनों हाथ कैसे किया मैंने? ऐसे किया। Zip कैसे run down हुआ? ऐसे run down हुआ। Forces were on this side, but the resultant acted here. And the best example is all you students of our lovely Pebble City community, which I give every time this is an example. Previous night at 10 o'clock, the boy comes from the basketball court, playing till 10 o'clock at night, and goes till his tower without any issue. Yeah, a lot of children play till 10:30. Next morning when this bacha goes to school, he doesn't know how to reach the bus stand. Mother here, father here. Resultant force. बच्चा सीधा जा रहा है. Bag with the mother, water bottle with the father, and then lot of pep talk. I keep walking in the morning. I'll say, "What you should do? You should do this, huh? And lot of, and that's the way you should do." Oh, but how many of you do not carry your bags on your own? Be honest. You be honest and just raise your hands. How many of you do not carry your bag to the bus stand on your own? Any student who is my student here and he enters this, the first thing he will leave is उसे घर की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी लेना सीखना है, देना नहीं। अगर आपके पापा या मम्मी आपकी बैग लेते हैं, कल से आप बोलेंगे ये बैग मैं लूंगा। और अगर डैडी आपका कोई लंच बॉक्स है, इफ योर डैड लिव्स यू से अर्ली मॉर्निंग योर ओन ट्रांसपोर्ट, वो भी मुझे दीजिए। The first thing I hate early morning is when I see big boy, mother carrying the bag and waiting in the bus stand. आप लिख के ले लो, and I'm putting it on record. That boy, what you sow is what you reap. I hope you have heard this. जो बोगे वही काटोगे. Today we take care of our parents. My mother, because whole life she has taken care of me. It's my moral duty. अगर आप अपने पेरेंट्स की केयर नहीं करेंगे तो आपको कुछ नहीं हो सकता है. So बैग आप खुद लेके जाएंगे. Your bag is your project work is your project work. हाँ, okay. We made a big model of Himalayas and all. We need one helping hand. That's different. Your chart paper, your chart paper. और सारे बसों की कोई दुश्मनी नहीं है आपसे. That the buses will come and only run over you. The buses are equally cautious. आराम से जा सकते. There are more parents in the bus stand than the number of children. Parent, one child. Grandma, grandfather, this, chota brother, auntie, uncle, half eating dosa. ठीक है? So in grade 8, we are exposed to the concept of what beta like forces, the forces, and we are only exposed to parallel. We don't talk about non-parallel forces. When the forces are non-parallel, we will see what happens. A bit of it we will learn in grade 9, but then physics becomes more interesting. कैसे हमें पता चलेगा कि किस डायरेक्शन में कौन सा चीज कहाँ जाने वाला है? Because there are a lot of such things. So I gave you one example of parachute. Then then pulling two things in one direction. You pull in this direction, you pull in this direction. Where will we go? If you put my ear in this direction and you pull this ear in this direction, which direction should I go? ऐसा भी तो होता है. चलो आपको एक इंटरेस्टिंग एग्जांपल देता हूं. जस्ट फोर्स का तो नहीं है, थोड़ा सा जस्ट टू ओपन योर माइंड्स. टेक अ पाइप and put a small table tennis ball inside this pipe. And घुसा दो यहाँ से बॉल को. And just push the ball so that the ball goes from here to here. At the same time, roll the pipe. समझ रहे हैं? उस बॉल के ऊपर कैसा फोर्स जा रहा है? The ball has been pushed this side, plus the ball is also dragged this way. ऐसे क्वेश्चंस आते हैं हाई क्लासेस में कि आफ्टर इट हैज रीच्ड दैट डिस्टेंस वेयर डू यू एक्सपेक्ट द बॉल टू बी. हमारा मन कहता है द बॉल शुड गो इनटू दिस साइड बिकॉज़ यू आर बीइंग पुश्ड फ्रॉम दिस साइड. सो ये हम अभी नहीं पढ़ते हैं बिकॉज़ यू आर बीइंग. सो हैव यू अंडरस्टूड अबाउट लाइक फोर्सेस? So like forces में we can always do an algebraic addition because the forces are parallel to each other, right? Fine. Now let's go and see what are unlike forces. Can anybody now take a dive at unlike forces with the condition that you are a grade 8 student, so something has been simplified for you.
Not in the same direction and they are not parallel.
हाँ, उसमें मुझे आंसर चाहिए. मैंने उसका हिंट दिया था. You answer it based on your grade, and in your grade you have some exemptions. What was the exemption? What do you don't study in your grade? I just said which type of cases we don't study in your grade. Not vector. Non-parallel we don't study. So हम जो भी पढ़ेंगे वो parallel में ही पढ़ेंगे, है ना? तो unlike forces में भी दो. Yeah. So they बोलो Riyan बोलो.
I think it's because in like forces, the forces in the same direction.
Very good.
So the object also moves in the
Same direction.
Unlike forces,
We will see on that. We will see that. Unlike forces. पहले ये देखते हैं. Unlike forces में भी they will be parallel. That is a different example I gave. We will not study that in your grade. There the forces are one force is pulled on this side, one force is pulled on this side. No. Unlike forces means the forces are parallel and the forces are opposite to each other, not different direction. Opposite to each other. देखो तो who said different direction? We will clear it up. Mishka, you said don't be in science. There is nothing wrong in science. We all discuss different direction में बोलने से ये word is no more valid. Just think. Different directions. The forces are in different directions. Can they ever be parallel? No. Have you got it? तो जब हम साइंस में आंसर करते हैं ना, दो बार हमें सोचना है that whatever we are answering, think whether it is correct. But it does not mean that you will not open your mouth in class. Yes, we will make mistake. So forces are opposite to each, and they are parallel. यहां बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग ऑब्जर्वेशन होगा, यहां देखते हैं व्हाट इज द ऑब्जर्वेशन. ओके, सो लेट्स टेक आवर ब्लॉक वंस अगेन. फटाक से आंसर मत देना. लेट्स टेक आवर ब्लॉक एंड लेट्स ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड. ओके, this is the block. So the condition that I said, that forces are parallel. So let me make two blocks. Let me make two blocks. The forces are parallel, but they are not in the same direction. And they may be of different values also. As of now, let us say बहुत सारे scenarios होंगे. Let us first see the most simple case. यहाँ मजा लीजिए फिजिक्स का. Most simple case. Are these forces in opposite direction? Yeah. Yes. क्यों? नो क्यों? एक इधर आ रहा है, एक इधर जा रहा है. Opposite direction में ना. Did you get it? Okay. Are they parallel to each other? Yes. Why not?
But then won't they meet in the
Then let them meet. This is also parallel. These are parallel to each other, ना? These are parallel to each other. ये भी parallel है, ये भी parallel है. No, these are parallel to each other. ये फोर्स आगे जाके इस साइड जा रहा है. पैरेलल का मतलब क्या है? बट बिटवीन द टू फोर्सेस द एंगल शुड बी आइदर 180 डिग्री और 0 डिग्री. यू नो व्हाट इज 180 डिग्री और शुड बी 0 डिग्री. 0 डिग्री में पैरेलल होता है ना. एक और चीज देखो यहाँ पे, बढ़िया चीज. चलो आओ देखते हैं. दिस इज वन फोर्स, राइट? देन डाउट क्लियर करते हैं. This force and this force are in same direction. This force and this force are in same direction. Direction is changing. How are they now? They are opposite to each other. Bang opposite to each other. Then this is also called anti-parallel. We call it anti-parallel, right? So the word that I could have used here is that, I can say that the forces are anti-parallel to each other, which is actually seen here. ये तो anti-parallel ही दिख रहा है ना. Anti-parallel means parallel but in opposite directions. ठीक है? अच्छा. Later on, when you get to know about vectors, you can know that vectors can also be parallelly translated. This will be difficult for you to understand. Let's now concentrate on this particular thing. These forces are parallel but in opposite direction. Parallel and opposite direction के लिए आप दो criteria देख सकते हैं at your age. What is the criteria we will see at our age? Draw one axis line. Either the forces should be on the same axis line, okay, or the forces can be within their own axes, and the axes are parallel to each other. दोनों केस में our forces are parallel and in opposite direction. ठीक है? अब यहां इंटरेस्ट लीजिए. देखिए, say this force is 3 Newton and let's say this force is 3 Newton. What do you expect?
nothing. The body won't move.
The body won't move. This is a way to answer in physics. Nothing नहीं बोल सकते. It has to be quantified. The body does not move. Why the body does not move? Because I'm pushing it with 3 Newton on this side and you're pushing on 3 Newton on this side. The body doesn't move. Very nice. Understood. देखता हूं ये कौन आंसर करेगा. फिजिक्स फील करके आंसर करते हैं. फटाक से आंसर मत कीजिए, सोचिए. ये फ्लिप कर जाएगा. बात सही है. मूवमेंट 5 न्यूटन नो मूवमेंट. रोटेट्स. ऐसे केस में क्या करेंगे, थोड़ा और इंटरेस्टिंग देखते हैं इसको. इस केस में क्या हो जाएगा. इस केस में मान लीजिए बॉडी में एक सेंटर लाइन ड्रॉ कर लेते हैं. द सेंटर ऑफ द बॉडी. आई एम ट्राइंग टू फाइंड द सेंटर ऑफ द बॉडी. व्हाट इज द सेंटर ऑफ द बॉडी? दिस इज द मिड पॉइंट इज द सेंटर ऑफ द बॉडी. हाँ, ये सेंटर ऑफ द बॉडी है ना. एंड नाउ आई टेल रेयान एक काम करो, एक स्क्रू या नेल यहां घुसा दो, पुट अ नेल आउट हियर एंड आई टेल यू बोथ गर्ल्स नाउ टू पुल इट विथ 5 न्यूटन, कैसा होगा? ऐसे पॉइंट को हम बोलते हैं पिवट। न्यू वर्ड, पिवट। घड़ी का कांटा देखा है? इट इज ऑन अ पिवट। A pivot is a point around which a body does rotational motion. And when you study biology, the first pivot on your body is the wrist. Neck is also a pivot. समझ में आया? जब आपने पिवट कर दिया तो पिवट के चारों ओर आपका बॉडी घूमना शुरू हो जाएगा। यहां क्यों नहीं घुमा और यहां क्यों घुमा? अब नेक्स्ट सवाल, why did the body not rotate here? That's how you learn physics. And why did the body rotate here?
Forces are being put in the same direction.
Opposite direction, yeah, the sense.
But there it's the opposite.
Here also opposite. All are parallel, बच्चा। यहाँ भी parallel, यहाँ भी yes. Forces are farther. So यहाँ पे हम एक word बोलेंगे, यहाँ पे हम बोलेंगे that let's look at this particular force, right? This yellow force. ये red line को हम क्या बोलेंगे? We will call this red line as its line of action. Do you understand line of action? Line of action means it is the imaginary line along which the force is acting. अगर ये हमारा बुलेट होता तो ये बुलेट कैसे जाता? इस लाइन ऑफ एक्शन से। और ये रेड लाइन क्या बन जाएगा बेटा? It will become the line of action of this particular force. Now let us define once again. If the lines of action of two unlike forces which are equal in magnitude but opposite in direction meet, it will not produce any sort of a movement in the body. However, if you have two equal and opposite forces whose line of action do not meet, it will create a rotation in the body. Rotation on the body. ठीक है ना? ऐसा हमने देखा। तो अब एक सवाल आता है that if you have unlike forces, so let's say unlike forces में number one we see, let's say the magnitude is equal. You have heard this word magnitude, we discussed the other day. Magnitude is same. Magnitude is same. Then in this case, what will we say? We will say net force is always equal to 0 if the magnitude is same. Please observe very carefully. Case number one, are the magnitudes same? Opposite to each other? Opposite to each other. Are they opposite to each other? So if somebody tells you, tell me what is the net force out here, what will I say? 0. The next case, are the forces opposite to each other? Is the magnitude same? What is the net force? 0. ये बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग है। इस केस में भी net force will be 0. अब difference, magnitude same and opposite means net force is always 0. This body is said to be in equilibrium. Equilibrium मतलब इस बॉडी के स्टेट में कोई चेंज नहीं होगा। So equilibrium is not defined only by magnitude and opposite forces. Equilibrium's most important point is how is the line of action of the forces. So here what we'll say, the line of action coincides. So the body is in equilibrium. Do you get it? Do you get it? अगर हम इसे ऐसे पुल भी करते तो भी कोइंसाइड करता। यहां पे बॉडी इज इन अनस्टेबल इक्विलिब्रियम। इक्विलिब्रियम मतलब समझो ना, बॉडी के स्टेट में कोई चेंज नहीं है। हियर इट इज इन स्टेबल इक्विलिब्रियम। स्टेबल इक्विलिब्रियम, बॉडी आराम से रहेगा। Now let's go to IKEA. Have you entered IKEA? Have you seen the IKEA door? It's pivoted. And you are pushing from this side.
No.
The other person, if somebody pushes from the other side. See the beauty. IKEA doors are this way. I'm the first person. So I will push. Push karte ye flap aise khulega. And now Shreyas gets in. He also pushes in this direction. अल्टीमेटली ये चीज पूरा ऐसे ही घूम रहा है। कोई कैसे भी आए, इट विल ऑलवेज रोटेट इन वन डायरेक्शन ओनली। हैव यू अंडरस्टूड? अभी और एग्जांपल देखेंगे इसमें। खाली रट्टू मार के वो कॉन्टैक्ट फोर्स नॉन कॉन्टैक्ट फोर्स से मजा नहीं आएगा। यस प्लीज। Yeah, opposite forces are acting. How? Let's see the door from the top. Let's see the door from the top. If you see the door from the top, then there are 4 flaps. This is the head of Jaideep Das. Head. This is my head. You're seeing from the top. Where is Jaideep pushing? This side. Right? And then by the time the door is coming here, this is Shreyas. He will push this side. Opposite push कर रहा है ना? हाँ, opposite push हो रहा है ना? Hinge है ना यहाँ पे, इसीलिए तो घूम रहा है। That's why we hinge the door. हमने door को hinge कर दिया ना? So our door rotates on this side like this. Gate. We've hinged it on one side. घूम तो रहा है, इसका और example लेंगे. So the takeaway from here, yes, line of action. Line of action. So if you see the line of actions actually coincide, then the body is in stable equilibrium. Net force 0. Here also don't write net force, it is unbalanced. Net force is 0, provided the values are same. Net force is how much? 0. Now let's see some more complicated cases. Okay, थोड़े से complicated cases देखते हैं. Let's say I have a body. Line of action is same. Sarvesh, ये देख. Line of action is same. 3 Newton, 6 Newton. अब क्या होगा? टग ऑफ वॉर. ये टग ऑफ वॉर जैसा केस है ना? कोई इस साइड पुश कर रहा है. So the body will go to the left, but body कैसे left में जाएगा? This is equivalent to the body being pulled by only 3 Newton. Is this mathematics working with you? The logic working with you? This logic we can put only when we are having the same line of action. Here, do I say the net force is 0? No. If net force is 0, body should not move. If net force move नहीं किया, body तो move किया है. So in higher grade you will see net force 0 will not give you translatory motion. Translatory motion means like this, but it can give you rotational motion. नेट फोर्स 0 करके कोई चीज घुमा सकते हैं? बिल्कुल घुमा सकते हैं. बॉडी को पिवट कीजिए और दोनों साइड से घुमाइए. आपको विश्वास नहीं आता है. ऑल योर मॉम एंड डैड राइड अ वेरी ब्यूटीफुल थिंग और ड्राइव अ वेरी ब्यूटीफुल थिंग. ऐसा टोयोटा होगा तो ऐसा टोयोटा लिखा रहता है. गाड़ी का स्टीयरिंग कैसे चलाते हो? ये हाथ इस तरफ खींचता है तो ये हाथ इस तरफ. रोटेशनल मोशन. Have you seen people opening T-wrench? देखियो T spanners और नट खोलते हैं ना? T spanners. Spanners. The bolt is here, so we will have a T spanner which will go like this. और उसके ऊपर T रहता है. So how do you open that bolt? You can put a spanner here. So we put a cylindrical spanner out here, and the spanner is fitted with a head. खुल गया. Rotational motion. अब सवाल आता है ऐसे चीजों को हम क्या बोलते हैं? सो नेक्स्ट लेट अस टेक ए न्यू वर्ड कॉल कपल. ये सब वर्ड्स जान के रखिए, ये 8th में जरूरत नहीं है आगे. कपल. Couple is a system where you will have a couple is a system where we have 2 equal forces acting in opposite direction, separated by a fixed distance. So let's see what is a couple. A couple is something like this. 2 equal and opposite forces. So if this force is bacha F, this force is also F, and they are separated by a distance. And in that distance, if you take the midpoint, say if I take the midpoint, the body यहाँ पे pivot होके rotate करना शुरू करेगा. आप ये बहुत करते हो, आपको शायद याद नहीं. If you have gone to your ancestral homes and all, not here, or have you seen that brass tap? Brass tap. हाँ, वो टैप कैसे खोलते? उंगली ऐसे डाल के कटक घुमाते. आप कर क्या रहे हो? इस उंगली से पुश करते हो और इस उंगली से ऐसे घुमाते हो, तो आपका टैप ऐसा रहता है ना, कटक करके खुल जाता है. डोंट बी, वी आर अप्लाइंग कपल. कपल हमें कहां कहां दिखता है? कपल का एग्जांपल हमें दिखता है, वेयर ऑल डू वी सी कपल? वी सी इट इन अ टी स्पैनर or a T wrench. We see it in the steering wheel. We see it in the steering wheel. We also see it in the taps, traditional taps. The wash basin the round ones, not it's the spindle ones. Have you seen spindle taps? Villages and all, you get a tap, na? Have you not seen a tap which has got a head like this, and then you put your finger and just open it? How is it opening? Rotate. Couple बोलते हैं. कपल में क्या हो रहा है? दो फोर्सेस विच आर एब्सोल्युटली इक्वल. सो व्हेन अ कपल एक्ट्स, फिर से बात आती है, नेट फोर्स कितना होगा? नेट फोर्स इज ऑलवेज 0, बट लाइंस ऑफ एक्शन डू नॉट मीट. और इससे क्या आ जाएगा? रोटेशन. रोटेशन किस में आएगा? अबाउट द पिवट. Couple. A couple is a system consisting of two equal and opposite forces separated by a finite distance. That is a measured distance. Two equal and opposite forces separated by a distance is called a couple. Okay. Beta yaad rakhte ji. Thank you. Two equal and opposite forces separated by a distance. That is called a couple. And the couple will always give me a rotation. Remember that? A couple always gives me a rotation. और ये बिल्कुल two equal and opposite forces parallel. Equal and opposite means parallel also. You can write the word parallel. Equal and opposite but parallel. ऐसा नहीं कि ये फोर्स ऐसे आ रहा है, ये फोर्स ऐसे, तब नहीं घूमेगा. They should be exactly Have we understood this? So there are many more complicated cases also. Let's see some complicated cases, whether we are at this level of grade 8, we are able to answer those or not. Okay. Say suppose I have a body. So let me make the body, say this is a body. So let's say this is 3 Newton and this is 6 Newton and they are parallel. अच्छा, अभी क्या? ये याद रखिए that they are parallel to each other. This is not a couple. Why is this not a couple? Different magnitude. Couple होने के लिए दोनों forces must be of the same magnitude, acting exactly in opposite direction. सर क्या इसमें रोटेशन नहीं होगा? हमें रोटेशन से मतलब नहीं, हम पूछ रहे हैं ये कपल है क्या? Couple means two equal and opposite forces parallel to each other with their lines of action separated by a distance, and then the body will exactly rotate where? The body will exactly rotate at the center of these two lines, not the center of the body, at the center of these two lines. The magnitude should be same and the force should be acting in opposite direction.
So what's the difference between forces where the line of action is parallel and
okay, unlike forces, we did not talk about whether the forces are equal or unequal. Unlike forces, we said, well, let's go back to our definition. Unlike forces, we said forces are opposite to each other. We did not speak anything on magnitude out here. So every couple is an unlike force. Every unlike force is not a couple. Unlike forces are opposite to each other. अभी जो मैंने डायग्राम ड्रॉ किया ना बेटा, ये अनलाइक फोर्स का डायग्राम है, इसे कपल नहीं कह सकता हूं. कपल अनलाइक फोर्स का एक स्पेशल कैटेगरी है जहां दोनों फोर्सेस इक्वल होते हैं और उनके लाइन ऑफ एक्शन में डिफरेंस होता है. और अगर आपने लाइन ऑफ एक्शन में डिफरेंस नहीं किया, then what will happen? Then there will be no rotation. Body is in stable equilibrium. Translatory motion means when we go on the same side. जैसे आप एक साइकिल चलाते हो ना, साइकिल में साइकिल के व्हील्स कैसे हैं? रोटेशनल मोशन. But the cycle itself is going सीधा सीधा. That is the translational motion. You are going सीधा सीधा with the cycle. Pedals are getting rotated. अभी मैं जब pedal rotate कर रहा हूं, मैं कहां हूं? यहां पे हूं. पूरा pedal system मेरे साथ फिर यहां भी जा रहा है. So the whole cycle is on translatory motion, the wheels are on rotational motion, and you are on translatory motion. आप थोड़ी rotate करके जाता है साइकिल के साथ, क्लियर है? अगर हमारा forces are like forces, their line of action is same, neither there will be translational motion nor there will be any rotational motion. That's why we say you are in stable equilibrium. हिला के दिखाओ ना इस बॉडी को, करो. Is the body moving? No. Is the body rotating? No. Is it moving? No. So we did not give translational, but we gave rotational. That means if two forces, their line of action just separates, please expect some sort of motion. I'll not use the word movement. Motion. कुछ ना कुछ तो होएगा. एक और बढ़िया चीज देखते हैं और उसके बाद आपके कॉमन चीजों में जाते हैं. Let's watch one more diagram. Okay. बोर तो नहीं हो रहे? Okay. ये डायग्राम देखिए तो. This is how we draw diagrams in engineering. Okay. Just see this diagram. उतनी अच्छी तो नहीं बनी, but this is a nut. Nut and a bolt. ये nut ऐसे ही होता है ना, nut. अब जरा देखिए, because समझ में आ रहा है? दिस इज योर स्पैनर. हम नट घुमाते हैं ना, ठीक है? अब आप ऐसे सोचो, एक्सिस कहां पे है नट का? द एक्सिस इज राइट गोइंग इनसाइड द स्क्रीन. नाउ एक्सिस इज गोइंग राइट इनसाइड द स्क्रीन. ओके, तो अगर हम इस नट को ढीला करना चाहें, नट कैसे खोलता है ढीला करने से? इफ यू रोटेट एंटी क्लॉकवाइज, राइट? एंटी क्लॉकवाइज रोटेशन करने के लिए स्पैनर कैसे घुमाना होगा? ऊपर की तरफ घुमाना होगा. सो लेट्स गिव सम फोर्स टू द स्पैनर. Let's give some force to the spanner. Force. Do you see? Again, very beautiful thing. If an object is pivoted, and if you have a force, now there's no couple. If you have a force and if the object is pivoted, and the distance between this particular pivot's axis. Now, children, pay attention here. आप बात drawing एक मिनट रोकिए and just pay the attention here. Just look at the diagram. What is the axis of the pivot? Like this. And how is the force being applied? Like this. दोनों को मिलाए तो are they perpendicular to each other? Yes, they are perpendicular to each other. अगर आपके पास एक perpendicular distance है from the pivot and you are applying a force from here, then this particular distance, the perpendicular distance that we have, okay, the perpendicular distance that we have, these all you will get in higher classes, but you should know this distance is known as the arm. We call it the arm. And once you have an arm, and once you have a force, and once you have a pivot, you can create something which is known as a torque. Is a torque both the new Hyundai Creta has got an unbelievable torque of so much. Torque means the engine rotates at that much speed. Torque. Motor's torque is how much? Very good. What is the torque of this motor? What is the torque of this engine? Torque matlab, and even you'll get wrenches which are available called torque wrench. Just in India, if you go to a mechanic, how do we tighten our nuts? We tighten our nuts with our eyebrows and move. ऐसे टाइट करते हैं. But in abroad, they will say that this nut is to be tightened with 5 Newton meter. So they'll just set the torque wrench to 5 Newton meter. जैसे 5 Newton हो गया ना, a wrench will slip. कभी आपने Formula 1 racing में देखा है how they open the tires? They've got those ratchets. खोल देते हैं. Those are called torque wrenches. They will not tighten anything more. They will not tighten. If you have ever had a tire puncture and you sit in that, next time when any wheel of a car is being opened, just देखना वो लगाता है ना, आवाज कर, घर मतलब खुल गया वो. टाइट जब करता है ना, how does he know where to stop? He doesn't know. He just presses the trigger. जहां टाइट हो गया ना, उसका वो स्लिप करना स्टार्ट कर देगा. आपको ज्यादा टाइट नहीं करना है. If you tighten more, you are creating more threads. टूट जाएगा वो चीज. Therefore, we have these things called torque wrench. Aircraft, all these higher end engineering, you don't tighten it with your hand. Well, how do you know? His strength and my strength may be different. Or the machine will be machine. Even if you press after that, ये आगे नहीं जाएगा. These are called foolproof mechanism. Like say we are drilling a wall. हमें drill के अंदर इतना, our drill bit is this much. मतलब इतना अंदर चला जाएगा. But we want the hole to be this much. तो हम क्या करेंगे? हम ड्रिल बिट के सामने गार्डर्स लगा लेंगे, ऐसे गार्ड स्टिक रह जाएगा. अब जैसे ही वॉल को ड्रिल कर देगा ना, इसके बाद और वो नहीं जाएगा. यू ड्रिल, आई ड्रिल, इडियट ड्रिल्स, एवरीवन विल ड्रिल दिस मच ओनली, नथिंग मोर देन दैट. इफ यू वांट टू लव साइंस एंड मैकेनिक्स, इट्स नॉट अबाउट डेफिनेशंस, यू हैव टू एक्सपीरियंस. ये इसलिए मैं ये डायग्राम बनाता हूं आपके लिए. अब आपको समझ में आ रहा है? इट इज अ टॉर्क. अच्छा, और हम टॉर्क कहां देखते हैं? अब समझ लो. नाउ से torque depends upon how much is your arm and how much is the force, right? Now say suppose he's a small boy. I have tightened it and I am asking him, isko khol ke dikha. His strength is not equal to my strength. Obviously he will not be able to open it. But if he uses dimag, na, he'll be able to open it. Kya karega? The torque, yes, I know you got the answer. The torque depends on two things, force and the arm. He is a kiddo. He is limited with the force. But भगवान ने उसको आर्म तो दिया है ना. वो क्या करता है? नीचे जाता है and he talks to the plumber. भैया आपके पास पाइप है क्या? यहाँ पे एक पाइप डाल देता है. He is more चालाक. He puts a pipe out here. ऐसे पाइप डाल देगा और डाल के वो इसके ऊपर खड़ा हो जाता है. जोर लगा के ऐसे मारेगा, ये खुल जाएगा. Such a beautiful thing. Have you seen lorry drivers and their assistants sometimes opening the wheels? They'll always open it like this. ताकत आप में नहीं है, लेकिन आप आर्म तो बड़ा कर सकते हो. अब उसी का एग्जाम्पल रोजमर्रा के घर में देखते हैं. ये है आपका दरवाजा. This is your door. Your door is pivoted on this axis. यहाँ पे हिंज है, यहाँ पे हिंज है, right? आपको क्यों लगता है नॉब यहां पे दिया, यहां क्यों नहीं दिया? The arm. Physics is all about thinking. अगर यहां पे देता, आर्म कम मिलता, ज्यादा ताकत लगता उस दरवाजे को खोलने के लिए. खिड़की, विंडो, सपोज दिस विंडो रोटेट्स. यहां से पकड़ के रोटेशन करना आसान है ना. विंडो को यहां से पकड़ के बंद कर पाएंगे? वेरी डिफिकल्ट. यू नो, स्विवलिंग विंडोज. डोर को यहां पे पकड़ के बंद करने की कोशिश कीजिए तो you have lot of strength, but your arm is less. But the door should be operated by a kid. Ladies and gentlemen, everyone, so we have increased the arm. इसलिए मैक्सिमम पे रहता है. अब ये आराम से आ जाए. अच्छा, बचपन में हमारे घर में जब लड्डू वगैरह बनते थे, have you seen those? There are two type of डब्बास. Nowadays everything is thread. But we used to have those metallic डब्बा जैसे जिसका ढक्कन होता था, like Cerelac डब्बास and all, milk डब्बास ऐसे. Have you seen? There's a lid, metallic डब्बास with a lid. In those cases, we have to open it with our fingers. नहीं खुलता है तो मम्मियाँ क्या करती हैं? चम्मच घुसा के खुलती है ना. What is she doing? Increasing the arm. नहीं तो नाखून टूटेगा. चक करके खुल गया. That's a lever. That's a lever, exactly. So when you're moving the stone, which is not moving, तो आप stone को हाथ से नहीं उठा सकते हो, पर हम lever arm पे तो खेल सकते हैं ना. arm पे खेलना. So whenever sometimes people will say छोटे स्पैनर से टाइट अच्छे से नहीं होता है. A छोटा स्पैनर will go into a non-accessible area. But if you want to tighten it nice, बड़े स्पैनर से टाइट कीजिए. happily it will tighten. उतना ताकत भी नहीं चाहिए. So when you design tools and you work with tools, these things should always work in your head. How to make my job easier? Have you understood? तो force में like forces, unlike forces में बहुत कुछ हमने देख लिया है. So let's do a small little bit summary and tell me, children, tell me anything that you don't understand now. Like forces. What are like forces? Like forces are forces. Yes. They should be, a lot of things will write. Same direction. No, need not be. Ryan, need not be. Same direction, parallel. Same direction and parallel. I'm making it the right way now. Same direction, parallel. Then I say LOA. Okay. Wait. Let it make it like this. और यहाँ पे ले आता हूँ LOA. LOA can coincide and not coincide. This is our coincide. If it coincides, body is in stable equilibrium. Stable equilibrium means what do you expect? No rotation, and no translation. No rotation, no translation. Provided यहाँ से जब से आप बात कर रहे हो ना, there's a small catch. The catch is this discussion holds true. This is for like forces. From here, if you are having a discussion, please have the magnitude equal. Yes, and if the magnitude is equal, the net force is always zero. The net force is equal to zero. Whether you coincide, whether you don't coincide. Okay, now if you don't coincide, then it is an unstable equilibrium. So you will have a rotational motion, and rotational about the pivot.
It can be an.
Which one?
If it does not coincide.
No, I'm saying, see, understand, if you are a like force does not have the criteria that their magnitude should be equal. Pulling with 3 Newton and pull. A like force's best example is 3 Newton, 6 Newton. They should be parallel. So it is overall 9 Newton. Bas, this is like force. 3 hota, to bhi 6 hota. When you are actually having magnitude equal and the line of action coincides, right? Then there will be stable equilibrium. If the magnitude is not equal, okay, now these are like forces. No, this discussion we can't bring here. This is for like forces only. Sorry, this part ek galti ho gaya beta. We can't bring this part here. This discussion we will. This is for unlike. Yes. So hang on. So 1 minute. This we will take up separately. Okay. So like forces, same direction and parallel. Here we also got to know about one more word called the resultant force. Resultant force, you just add up. You cannot add up. Clear? Sorry, huh? And then we also understood what is unlike forces. Unlike forces. And if you have unlike forces, then the unlike forces are opposite direction, and parallel. This criteria must be there. Opposite direction and parallel, right? In opposite direction and parallel, now we will talk about the line of action. Coincides, then there is stable equilibrium. No movement. Does not coincide, then there is rotation. And rotation about, see, these will not come in your exam, but you should know, like words like pivot and all, you should know. And when they does not coincide, okay, now line of action does not coincide. Here there's another special cases. If mag is same, then they form what is known as a couple. रोटेशन कपल भी देगा, रोटेशन नॉन अनइक्वल मैग में भी आएगा, बट कपल इज स्टडीड मोर इन डिटेल. And if you have, we also studied something called, if you have a pivot, if you have an arm, and if you have a force such that arm is always perpendicular to force, then you create something which is known as torque, and torque also will give you rotation. फटाफट एक बार ऊपर ऊपर से रिवीजन देख लेते हैं. Like forces are the forces which are in same direction and they are parallel. Can like forces be of different magnitude? Yes. In either case, they just add up. In grade 8, what do we not study? Non-parallel forces. Then we come to the resultant force, which just adds up. Complication is all here. Unlike forces, are they parallel? Yes, but in opposite direction. Can they be of same magnitude? Yes. In that case, they make a couple. Can they be of different magnitude? Yes. We don't say anything. But in either cases, if their line of action, if the mag is same, okay, in this case also, coincides में mag same होना पड़ेगा. If the mag is same and they coincide, then there will be stable equilibrium. But if mag is not same, see, 3 Newton, 6 Newton, body moves. तो बहुत सोच के आंसर कीजिएगा. In this case, if the mag is same, I'll give you a nice worksheet जिसमें पिक्टोरियल रहेगा, आपको जज कर करके आंसर देना. इट्स लाइक अ वेरी नाइस क्विज पजल जैसा. इफ अच्छा मिश्का ये देखो तो बेटा, लाइन ऑफ एक्शन कोइंसाइड्स बट मैग्नीट्यूड इज नॉट सेम. क्या बॉडी मूव करेगा? करेगा, करेगा. ट्रांसलेशन मोशन आएगा, रोटेशन नहीं रहेगा. 3 न्यूटन से पुश कर रहे हैं, 6 न्यूटन से इधर पुश करना स्टार्ट किया, रोटेट नहीं करेगा. ट्रांसलेशन मोशन. अच्छा फिर देखो, 3 न्यूटन से पुश कर रहे हैं, 3 न्यूटन रुक गया. अच्छा अब देखो, 3 न्यूटन रुक गया. 3 न्यूटन 4 न्यूटन, ही विंस. 3 न्यूटन 3 न्यूटन रोटेट्स. 3 न्यूटन 6 न्यूटन rotates, but that we don't study. 3 Newton couple. Pivot, momentum, force, torque. I hope you've understood now.
Yes.
Clear? So we'll give you some worksheets in which you'll get this thing very clear. Just understand, line of action coincides, then check on the magnitude. Magnitude same, no motion. Stable equilibrium, कोई तरह का movement नहीं. If the magnitude is different, translational movement will be there. Line of action does not coincide. बाबा तुम तो घूमने ही वाला है, तुम घूमेगा और पिवट कर देंगे. ठीक है, आज यहां रखें. अगले क्लास में विल टॉक अबाउट कॉन्टैक्ट एंड नॉन कॉन्टैक्ट. ये पोर्शन से यूजुअली यू विल नॉट गेट सो मच क्वेश्चंस, बट इन योर हायर क्लासेस योर दिमाग गेट सेट. आपने नया कुछ नहीं सुना. कपल के बारे में समझ गए,